Hey y'all, this is David, the Georgia photographer, and today we're in Renaissance Park heading into Coolidge Park. The literal divider, let me turn around here, is that bridge. That's the Market Street Bridge. I've parked in this parking lot over here just because, no particular reason, but I wanted to walk this little stretch of road. Got a photo right back there of a piece of construction equipment. Walking my way over here to the park. I'm just going to wander around the park for about an hour, see what I come up with. Because today I'm using the Nikon Zf and the 28mm AiS lens made in the 80s. And this is one of my all-time favorite 28s. So we're going to see what we can come up with that lens and camera combination in Coolidge Park. Come on. Cool fun fact, I can remember a time before this park existed when this was the storage area for the local National Guard Armory's vehicles. They parked them under the bridge to keep them out of the weather. I was just a kid. I remember the Army trucks being parked under this bridge because you used to could drive over the Walnut Street Bridge and you could see under this bridge from that one. I'm going to walk around a little bit today just to kind of get out and see what the world looks like, because last night we had a really significant storm system blow through. This is March 16th, 2025. On March 15th, a huge weather system blew through at night and into the 16th. I think it actually got here at about 1 a.m. So technically it was this morning, but it was like a high level of tornadic activity and lots of severe thunderstorms, and it was just a really strong weather system. Lots of media coverage. It won't be hard to find it on YouTube. But today, it's business as usual. Nothing ever happened from the looks of things, other than everything's wet from all the rain. It's just impressive that people are just back to business. To talk about the lens for just a minute, the 28mm AiS lens, the old vintage Nikkor lenses, they're f2.8 to f22, which is kind of unusual. Normally they only go to f16, but this one goes to f22, giving you another stop to stop it down with. Say you're wanting to throttle light to get long exposures of some sort, maybe motion blur or light stars or whatever, but it has that functionality. And then of course it's metered and marked in feet and inches. Mine has the coupling connector to meter the older film cameras removed. It just has the screws where it should have that actual little L-shaped bracket with the notch in it that fits the meter coupling on the older cameras. That's why it has two scales. On the older Nikon cameras, it had a tiny little window that looked down on the lens through the viewfinder and would allow you to see what aperture you were on while looking through the viewfinder. It would just appear in the middle of the bottom of the display when you look through it. And that's why you see two aperture scales, one little one and one bigger one, because that little one was what you saw through the viewfinder. And that was like a big innovation so that you could actually make aperture adjustments without having to take your camera away from your eye. But nowadays, when you adapt them to mirrorless, it's irrelevant. You don't even need it. So whatever, but the lens is beautiful, and I've got it on a simple Photo-C just metallic adapter with no electronics, because this lens normally doesn't have electronics in it. I've added the little dandelion chip to this one, and when I try to use it with an FTZ, it actually underexposes. So I have to run like 2/3 of a stop of exposure compensation to get reasonable exposures, and then when I do that, the preview is 2/3 of a stop overexposed. It's like the preview works right, but the actual exposure is wrong. I don't understand it. Something about that doesn't work. I don't know what the deal is with it, but it's messed up somehow. But yeah, this thing is it's a true gem of a lens. If you haven't ever used one, they're beautiful lenses. So I'm gonna make my way on over to this big purple rhinoceros. You'll see. This rhino was brought in as an art installation piece many years ago. It's been here a long time. But yeah, it's at the center point of this roundabout at the end of the street. That's the Chattanooga Theater for, it's like live performances. They do plays and things. But yeah, this is the blue rhino I was talking about. It's awesome, isn't it? It's enormous. But yeah, it's been here for years now. Would I recommend you pick this lens up as a beginner and shoot with it? I'll just tell you the truth. I would say no. Don't get this lens as a beginning photographer, because you're just going to be frustrated trying to use it. At the end of the day, this lens is for someone who understands the exposure triangle of aperture, shutter speed, and ISO pretty implicitly, and understands how to drive the camera in manual. That's because this lens being full manual, you have to control it yourself. Yeah, you can leave a little bit to the camera. Like if you put it in aperture priority, it'll guess the aperture and try to balance the exposure based on that, and that works okay. But at the end of the day, this is for a manual shooter's experience. It's not really for someone who's just learning how and trying to figure out how to get a good photo. It's just going to frustrate you at the end of the day. So with that, I appreciate you coming along for my walk in the park. And until next time, get your camera out, no matter what kind it is, and go take a picture with it, all right? We'll see you later. Bye-bye.